God is exposing your Son, and what I am about to reveal will shake the very ground beneath your feet. This is not a story. This is not imagination. This is a message from heaven, carried by Archangel Michael himself. The child you once held in your arms, the boy whose laughter once filled your home with joy, the son you trusted more than your own heartbeat, is now standing in a place you cannot see, a place between light and darkness. And in that place, secrets are hidden, secrets so heavy, even your love cannot hide them anymore. He smiles at you, but that smile is a mask. He hugs you, but behind that hug is a storm. At night, when you believe he is resting peacefully, there is another voice speaking to him. Not the voice of God, not the voice of his father or mother, but a whisper from the one who once betrayed heaven itself. And God is saying, if I do not expose him now, you will lose him forever. You cannot imagine what has been written in his destiny. You cannot believe the steps he has already taken. He has touched the shadow, and the shadow has touched him back. And while you believed he was safe, his spirit was walking into a fire that has no end. This is not to break you. This is to wake you, because the son you raised is not the same son standing before heaven right now. There is another hand on his life, a hand that must be cut off before it pulls him completely away from you. God is exposing your son because time is running short. And when you hear what comes next, you will either cry in despair, or you will rise and fight for him with everything inside you. From the beginning of time, every child born carries a light inside them, a divine spark placed by God himself. But not every spark is safe, because where there is light, the shadows are never far. Your son was born with a mark of promise. Even before his first cry, heaven had written something great in his destiny. Angels celebrated when his name was spoken. But with greatness comes attention. And not only heaven was watching that day. Hell also listened. And the enemy whispered, "This one must be mine." As you held him in your arms for the very first time, you saw only innocence. You looked into his eyes and thought, "He is my pride, my future, my blessing." But what you did not see was the battle that had already begun, the battle for his soul. At first, you noticed nothing. He was kind, playful, and obedient. His laughter carried joy into every corner of your home. But slowly, so slowly, you could not even feel the change. Something began to shift. A silence in his eyes where light once lived. A distance in his smile that no parent wants to believe. You thought it was only growing up. You thought it was only the world changing him. But Archangel Michael is speaking now. It was more than that. I was shown a vision of nights when you believed he was asleep, but in the spirit realm he was not resting. I saw him walking, not on the ground of your home, but on a road made of shadows. Figures walked beside him, whispers circling his ears,
and every step he took, the chain of darkness tightened around his ankles. He hides it well. Oh yes, he hides it better than anyone else in your family. He knows how to smile in the morning and say, "I'm fine." He knows how to sit at your table and laugh at your jokes. But heaven sees the truth. And heaven told me this: your son has entered a dangerous covenant, not with words, but with choices, not with blood, but with silence. The truth is, God is exposing him because you have prayed. Your tears have reached heaven. You begged for a sign. You begged to know if something was wrong. And God has answered, yes, something is wrong. What you feared in the quiet of your heart is real, and now you must face it. Your son is not the boy you thought he was anymore. He is standing between two doors. One door leads back to light. The other leads into fire. And Archangel Michael says the choice is close. The decision is near. And once he steps, there may be no return. So hear this carefully. The reason God is exposing him now is not to shame him, but to save him. If the curtain was not pulled back today, tomorrow might be too late. And the question is, will you believe the truth heaven is showing you, even when your heart wants to deny it?
Listen carefully, because what I reveal now will not be easy to hear. You believe your son is still walking the path you guided him on, but heaven showed me otherwise. I saw him standing at a crossroad, not a road of stone or earth, but a spiritual road. One side bathed in a golden light, the other swallowed in thick shadows. And as he looked, he did not turn toward the light. His eyes drifted to the darkness. Step by step, almost unwillingly, he moved toward it. And with every step, I saw something terrifying. Chains appearing around his hands, his feet, his neck. Chains that glowed with fire. You may say, "But I see nothing. He looks normal." And that is true, because in the physical, he hides it well. But Archangel Michael is telling you, in the unseen world, your son is already bound. I was shown a room where he sits alone at night. The lights are off. The silence is heavy. And yet he is not alone. There is a presence with him, not a friend, not an angel, but a shadow that leans close to his ear and speaks words he dares not repeat. This shadow tells him, "Hide your pain, hide your secrets. No one will understand you. Trust me, not them." And your son listens. Even when he resists, he listens. Even when he prays half-heartedly, he listens. And with every whisper, that shadow pulls him deeper into its net. You thought it was only stress. You thought it was only distraction. But in truth, your son has been touched by darkness. And the more he hides, the stronger it grows. God does not reveal this to condemn him, no. God reveals this because his mercy is still open. But mercy does not last forever. There is a window, a moment, a chance, and once it closes, nothing will bring him back. I saw a book in heaven's hand. Inside it, your son's name was written. Next to his name was a flame, bright at first, but fading, dimming,
struggling to stay alive. And God said, "If they do not fight for him now, this flame will vanish. And once it vanishes, no hand can reignite it." You wonder, "But he is still my boy, my blood. How can he betray? How can he fall?" And heaven answers, "Because every chosen one is tested. Every son marked with greatness is attacked by shadows stronger than the rest. And your son is chosen, so the enemy has targeted him more fiercely than you ever imagined. He does not tell you his thoughts, but I will. He is burdened. He feels trapped. He feels unseen. And in his silence, he has begun to believe the lie that no one will save him. But the truth is, he can be saved, only if you act now. So hear me. Do not ignore the warnings. Do not say, "It is nothing," because what you call nothing, heaven calls danger. What you call change, heaven calls chains. And what you call silence, heaven calls captivity. God is exposing your son not because he wants to destroy your family, but because he wants to protect it from destruction that is already at the door. The shadow stands near him, closer than ever before. And if you do not rise in prayer, in faith, in vigilance, your son will step fully into that darkness. This is the truth you asked for. This is the revelation you prayed to see. Now the question is, will you act or will you wait until the day you cry, "I saw the signs, but I did nothing"? Now listen carefully, because the truth I reveal will shake your heart. Your son is standing at the edge of something far greater than you can see. A storm is gathering around him, not of wind or rain, but of choices, whispers, and invisible hands pulling him in every direction. He smiles at you during the day, laughs with you at dinner, and walks like the boy you raised. But at night, I saw him differently. I saw him pacing in a room of shadows, a candle flickering weakly beside him. And with each flicker, I saw shadows move closer. Shadows that breathe lies. Shadows that promise power. Shadows that whisper, "No one understands you. You are alone. Trust me, not them." Your son listens, and the more he listens, the more he believes. Even when he prays, even when he remembers the lessons you taught him, the shadows whisper louder. And the danger is not only outside, the danger is inside him, inside his mind, his heart, his spirit. I saw doubts creeping like snakes through his thoughts, doubts about you, doubts about God, doubts about the life you built for him. And if these doubts are not crushed now, they will grow, and one day they will strike like a poison that cannot be cured. God is exposing him now because there is still time. Heaven does not wait forever. The time for intervention is short. A day missed may become a lifetime lost. I saw angels circling above him, and Archangel Michael spoke. They cannot touch him unless he opens the door himself.
and the shadow outside the door is waiting, patient, relentless, knowing that one moment of doubt is all it needs to enter fully. You may ask, but what can I do? He refuses to talk. He hides everything from me. And heaven answers, pray, wait, watch, intervene with love, with faith, with vigilance. The boy you see is only a mask. Beneath it, the battle rages, and the one who wins is the one who guides him back to light before it is too late. I saw a book again, not just any book, but the book of his deeds, his choices, his destiny. Every choice he makes, every moment of silence, every whispered thought is written there, and the page turns fast, faster than you can act. And Archangel Michael says, if you do not act now, the next page may be the one that seals his fate. Your son is not lost yet, but he is walking a dangerous line, and the longer you wait, the weaker the light in his heart becomes. The shadows feed on silence, feed on denial, feed on the distance that grows between a parent and child when they are too proud, too scared, or too blind to see. God is exposing your son because it is the final chance before the darkness becomes permanent. And when you see this, when you truly believe it, your heart may break. But remember, breaking hearts is easier than breaking souls. This is the truth you must hold on to, because if you do not, the boy you love will no longer be the boy you raised. He will belong to the shadow forever, and heaven will mourn his absence, but you will mourn him more.
Listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal will test your faith, your heart, and your very understanding of who your son is. Your son is hiding something. Not a small thing, not a childish mistake. Something so heavy, so dark, that even thinking about it makes the air around him shiver. I saw it in a vision. Your son sitting in silence, alone, in a room lit only by the faint glow of a lamp. In his hands he held an object, a key, a book, a letter. I cannot describe it fully, because the weight of it is beyond human comprehension. And as he held it, I saw shadows gathering around him, whispering, laughing, guiding him. Every time he considered telling you, the shadow's voice grew louder. Do not tell, do not expose. You belong to me now. And then I saw the first betrayal. Not of you, not yet of the world, but of the innocence God gave him. He made a choice that was not meant for him to make, a choice that touched the lives of others in ways he did not understand, a choice that now has consequences, consequences that will not vanish with time, no matter how much you pray. God is exposing this now because the shadow is cunning. It waits, it plans, it knows every secret, every fear, every weakness your son holds. And if you do not act, it will use those weaknesses to pull him fully into darkness. I saw a vision of you standing outside his room. You hear nothing, you see nothing, but your heart feels it. The unease, the tension, the subtle wrongness that cannot be ignored. And Archangel Michael said, "This is the moment.
Do not wait for proof. Do not wait for confession. Act with love. Act with faith. Act before it is too late. The first secret, the one he keeps buried in the shadows of his mind, it involves someone he trusts, someone who should guide him, protect him, love him. But that person is not what they seem. And the choices your son has made unknowingly are being influenced by forces he cannot see. You may ask, why would he do this? Why would he hide it? And heaven answers, because the enemy teaches deception as a lesson. The enemy teaches silence as a weapon. And the boy you love is learning without knowing. God is exposing this now to give you the chance to intervene, to guide him back to light. Because the longer he walks in shadows, the harder it becomes to return. Your son, the boy you raised, the boy you loved, the boy whose heart beats with yours, he is standing at the edge of his first great fall. And Archangel Michael says, if you do not act now, the next step may lead him beyond the reach of heaven itself. So hear me clearly. Do not dismiss your instincts. Do not ignore your prayers. Do not assume he is still innocent in the ways you hope, because God is exposing him to save him. And if you miss this moment, salvation will demand a price too heavy for any parent to bear.
Now listen carefully, because the darkness surrounding your son grows stronger with every passing moment. I saw him again, alone in a room where the light barely touches the corners. The shadows are alive there. They move, they whisper, they wrap around his thoughts like invisible chains. He tries to resist. He wants to run toward the light. But the shadow is patient. It knows his fears, his doubts, his longings, and it uses them subtly, silently, irresistibly. I saw him looking at a photograph, a memory of happier days, a moment of innocence you shared together. And the shadow spoke, that was a lie. That love cannot save you. That warmth does not exist. You belong to me. Your son believes he is alone. Your son believes no one understands him. And that belief is the weapon of the shadow. It isolates him, weakens him, and makes him vulnerable to deception. I was shown a moment in the future, one you have not yet lived, a moment where your son will face a choice, one choice that will define the path of his soul. And the shadow will be there, whispering, twisting, pulling. And if he listens even for a second, that path will lead him into darkness from which there is no return. But God is exposing him now, because the father's eyes, the mother's prayers, the parent's love, these are stronger than shadows, stronger than deception, stronger than fear. The boy you raised is not yet lost. Not yet. I saw angels hovering near him, their wings brushing against the edges of his soul. But they cannot intervene unless you act. You are the hand of heaven here. You are the voice that must speak, the love that must guide, the presence that must remind him of what is real, what is true, what is pure.
And Archangel Michael said, "If the parent falters now, the boy will stumble. If the parent sleeps in doubt, the child will awaken in chains. Your son is not only hiding secrets from you, he is hiding his fear, his shame, his confusion, and the shadow feeds on every hidden thought, every unspoken word, every lie he tells himself to feel safe. I saw him kneeling in silence, trying to pray, trying to reach for light, but the shadow's voice is louder than God's whisper. And if he falls into despair, if he succumbs to isolation, heaven may mourn, but you will weep more. This is the moment to act, not tomorrow, not next week, now. Speak to him with love, guide him with faith, watch him with vigilance, because the shadows are patient, relentless, and cunning. And your son, the child of your heart, the boy of your dreams, he cannot fight alone. God is exposing your son, not to punish, not to condemn, but to save. And if you do not rise, if you do not intervene, if you wait for him to confess, the shadow will win, and the boy you love will walk a path where even angels cannot follow. Do not ignore this warning. Do not doubt this vision. Do not falter in your responsibility. The time is now. The danger is real. And only your courage, your prayer, and your love can pull him back from the edge of darkness.
Listen with all your heart, because what I am about to reveal is not a story. It is a battle being fought right now for your son's soul. I was shown a vision of him again. It was night. The air was heavy. The silence in the room felt unnatural, like something alive was hiding in it. Your son sat on the edge of his bed, his hands trembling, his eyes staring at the ground. He looked like a boy, but inside he was fighting like a man trapped between two worlds. Then the shadow entered. Not through the door, not through the window. It simply appeared. Thick, dark, formless, yet powerful. And it spoke. Not in words you could hear with your ears, but in whispers his heart could not resist. It said, "You are mine. You cannot escape me. Your prayers are weak. Your family does not understand you, and even God will not save you." Your son shivered. He clenched his fists. He tried to fight back, but the shadow's presence grew heavier, pressing on him like an invisible hand, crushing his chest. And I saw him whisper something no parent wants to hear. He said, "Maybe you're right." That moment was the first confrontation, the moment the shadow began to win. But heaven did not remain silent. As soon as those words escaped his lips, I saw a bright light appear in the corner of the room. A sword of fire descended, and Archangel Michael himself spoke. "No, he does not belong to you. He is still marked by heaven. His destiny is not yours to claim." The shadow hissed. It recoiled, but it did not leave. Instead, it whispered again, "Then I will wait. I will tempt. I will twist. I will return every night until he is mine." And here is the warning, the truth God is revealing to you now. The battle for your son is not occasional. It is not a once-in-a-lifetime test. It is daily. Night after night the shadow comes. Night after night it whispers. Night after night it waits for him to break. Your son walks around you in the daylight as though nothing has happened. But when the darkness falls, the war begins. His spirit is exhausted. His mind is heavy. His heart is torn. And the enemy knows if it keeps pressing, if it keeps whispering, if it keeps striking at his weakest points, one day he will surrender completely. But God is exposing this now so you can act, because a battle like this cannot be fought alone. Your son is strong, but he is still a child of flesh, vulnerable, fragile, and wounded. Only prayer can shield him. Only your love can remind him of who he really is. Only your vigilance can protect him from the moment he says yes to the shadow. And Archangel Michael said, "Tell them this, the enemy is patient, but heaven is stronger. If the parent rises now, the child will be saved. If the parent sleeps now, the child will fall." The first confrontation has already happened, but the war is not over. And you are being called to fight beside him, to cover him, to protect him, to shield him with faith stronger than the chains that try to bind him. Your son's battle is your battle, and if you ignore it, if you dismiss it, if you pretend it is nothing, then the next time the shadow enters, it may not leave, and your son will no longer be the boy you raised. He will be a vessel for the darkness you refused to see.
Now listen with your spirit open, because this truth is not easy to carry. The war for your son is not only his battle, it is yours. Every tear you cry, every prayer you whisper, every doubt you ignore, all of it decides whether he stands or whether he falls. I was shown a vision of you. You were standing in the middle of your home calling his name, but he did not answer. You walked from room to room. He was not there. And suddenly I saw why. Your son was not lost in the physical. He was lost in the spirit. He was walking through a corridor of shadows, calling for help, but his voice was too weak to reach you. And then Archangel Michael spoke to me. "Tell them, this is what it means to ignore the warnings. This is what it means when parents say, 'It is nothing, he will grow out of it.' Do not wait for tomorrow, because tomorrow may not come. Your son is fighting despair. He feels abandoned. He feels unseen. And in that despair, the shadow has begun to feed him lies, lies that say, 'You are not loved. You are not chosen. You are not safe.' You believe he is only tired. You believe he is only distracted. But heaven says, no, he is bleeding in the spirit. And unless someone covers that wound, the blood will run until there is nothing left. I was shown his heart. It was like a flame, flickering, small, fighting to survive.
The wind of the enemy blew against it, again and again, trying to snuff it out. But I saw another force, your prayers. Each prayer was like a shield around that flame, keeping it alive, even if it burned weakly. And Archangel Michael said, "Do not stop. Even when it feels useless, do not stop, because every prayer you speak is a weapon heaven uses to push the shadows back." But here is the danger. Your silence can kill him. Your doubt can weaken him. Your delay can destroy him. Heaven revealed something even heavier. I saw your son's name written in a book, and beside it there were two outcomes. On one page was light, victory, destiny, blessing. On the other page was darkness, chains, destruction, and despair. Both pages were open. Both destinies were waiting. And Archangel Michael said, "Which page will be written depends on what they do now." Do you understand what this means? Heaven is saying the outcome is not sealed. Your son can still be saved. But the longer you wait, the harder it becomes. Every day the shadow grows bolder. Every night it enters deeper. Every choice he makes in silence pulls him further away from the light. And here is the harshest truth. God is exposing him now because love alone will not save him. He needs love, yes, but he also needs truth. He needs a parent who is not afraid to see the darkness, not afraid to confront the shadow, not afraid to fight when he cannot. This is your responsibility. This is your calling. This is the weight heaven has placed on your shoulders, because when the boy cannot fight, the parent must fight. And if you do not, the chains will tighten until nothing is left but regret. So, hear me clearly. Do not say, "I will pray tomorrow." Do not say, "He will change eventually." Do not say, "This is only a phase," because the shadow is not waiting, it is moving now. And if you do not rise now, the son you love will be consumed. This is the warning Archangel Michael delivers, and this is the mercy of God, that he exposes the darkness before it is too late. The question is not whether your son can be saved. The question is whether you will fight for him before the shadow claims him forever.
Now listen carefully, because what I am about to say will pierce like a sword. Up until now, you believed the shadow was attacking your son only in secret places, only in the silence of the night. But the truth is far more dangerous. The shadow is not only whispering to him, it is speaking through someone he trusts. I was shown a vision. Your son was not alone. He was sitting beside a friend who looked harmless, smiling, laughing, pretending to care. But behind that friend stood a dark figure, twisted, tall, whispering every word into his ear. And your son listened, because he thought it was only the voice of a friend. The shadow has disguised itself. It has entered through the people closest to him, through the ones who say, "I am with you," but secretly drag him down, through the ones who laugh with him in daylight, but at night leave him emptier than before, through the ones who say, "Don't listen to your family, don't listen to God, do what you want." And then Archangel Michael said something that made me tremble.
The enemy does not always come with horns and fire. Sometimes it comes with a smile. Sometimes it comes with a hand of friendship. Sometimes it comes with love that leads to destruction. Your son believes he is choosing his own path, but the truth is, every word he hears, every choice he makes, every step he takes is being guided by someone who does not belong to the light. He does not see it. He cannot see it because the shadow hides behind the mask of loyalty. And here is the revelation you need to hear. The person influencing him is already in your life. They already sit at your table. They already speak in your house. You think they are harmless. You think they are just another face passing through. But heaven says, no, they are the doorway the shadow uses to enter your son's soul. I was shown a chilling scene. Your son was laughing, but his laughter was hollow. The friend whispered something, and suddenly the light in your son's eyes dimmed. The flame in his heart flickered weaker, and I heard the shadow laugh through that friend's voice. Then Archangel Michael declared, "Expose it, speak it, do not remain blind. Because if the parent refuses to see the serpent will coil tighter around the child until the breath of life is crushed from him." This is why God is exposing your son now, not to shame him, not to condemn him, but to show you the danger before it is too late. Because you cannot fight what you refuse to face. And right now, the greatest threat to him is not the darkness in his room, but the darkness sitting beside him, disguised as a companion. And here is the greatest test. Will you have the courage to cut off what is poisoning him? Will you be brave enough to separate him from the voice that is leading him to destruction? Because if you remain silent, if you say, "Maybe it's nothing," then know this, the shadow will not stop. It will grow bolder, it will grow louder, and one day you will wake up and realize your son is no longer your son. He is a vessel for the very darkness you ignored. But if you arise, if you confront, if you declare war not on him, but on the spirit using those around him, then heaven itself will stand beside you. Then Archangel Michael will draw his sword again. Then the shadow will tremble because it knows its disguise has been torn away. This is the revelation. Your son is not weak. He is not lost. He is not forgotten. But he is under influence, and until that influence is broken, his destiny will hang in the balance.
Now listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal is the heaviest truth yet. I was taken into a vision where time itself stood still. In front of me, I saw your son standing at a crossroad. On one side, there was light, brilliant, golden, pure, stretching endlessly into hope, destiny, and life. On the other side, there was darkness, thick, suffocating, endless, pulling downward into despair, chains, and destruction. Your son stood in the middle, trembling. In his hands he held a candle, the last flame of his faith, small but still alive. The winds of the shadow blew fiercely, trying to extinguish it, and I heard the shadow whisper, "Choose me, choose freedom, choose pleasure, choose everything your parents denied you." But then, from the light, I heard another voice, gentle yet thunderous, filled with authority and love. It was the voice of the Lord. "My son, do not forget who you are. You were chosen. You were marked.
You were mine before the world tried to claim you." Your son froze. The candle shook in his hands. Tears filled his eyes, and I realized this was not just a battle of temptation. This was the moment of decision. Then Archangel Michael appeared between the two paths. His sword blazed with fire. His wings stretched wide, covering your son. And he turned to me and said, "Tell them, this is the hour that will decide everything. He cannot walk both paths. He cannot serve both voices. He will choose one, and his life will never be the same." The weight of this vision crushed me, because Michael revealed something terrifying. The moment of decision is not far away. It is not years from now. It is soon, closer than you think. And when that moment comes, your son will not decide based on what he sees in that instant. He will decide based on what has been planted in him now. Every word you speak, every prayer you pray, every silence you allow, every influence you tolerate, all of it is shaping the choice he will make at the crossroad. And then Michael said words that shook me to the core. If they rise now, their son will choose life. If they remain blind, their son will choose death. The page has not yet been written, but the ink is ready. Heaven waits for their response. I saw the book again, the book with your son's name. The pages turned quickly, as though time was running out. One page glowed with light, filled with promises and victories. The other was drenched in shadow, dripping with sorrow and regret. And suddenly, a pen appeared above the pages, waiting to write the outcome. Then I heard the Lord's voice. "I am exposing him now, because I love him. But love without action is useless. Love without prayer is empty. Love without courage is powerless. Stand now or regret forever." Your son's destiny is not yet sealed, but the hour is coming. The decision is near, and when the moment comes, heaven and hell will both watch. The angels will hold their breath. The demons will laugh, waiting to claim him. And all of it will depend on whether you, his parent, stood strong enough to guide him, shield him, and fight for him before the choice was made. This is the final warning. The shadow is not afraid of your son's weakness. It is afraid of your awakening. Because the moment you rise, the moment you fight, the moment you tear the mask off the serpent, the darkness will lose its grip. But if you remain silent, if you remain passive, then when he stands at the crossroad, the whisper of the shadow will sound louder than the voice of heaven. And once the choice is made, it cannot be undone.
Listen closely, because what comes next is not only warning, but instruction. Heaven does not expose without purpose. God does not reveal the battle unless he has already prepared the victory. As I stood in the vision, trembling at the sight of your son at the crossroad, I cried out, "Lord, how can they save him? What can a parent do against such darkness?" And the answer came, clear, thunderous, unstoppable. They are not powerless. They are the weapon. Then Archangel Michael turned to me, his sword blazing with fire, and said, "Tell them this. The enemy fears a praying parent more than any army. The shadow can whisper to the boy, but it cannot silence the voice of the one who intercedes for him. The serpent can deceive the child, but it trembles when the parent declares truth into his destiny." I was shown a new vision.
The shadow entering your son's room again, whispering, wrapping its coils around him. But this time, something different happened. The parent, you, stood at the doorway. Not in fear, not in silence, but with words of fire. Every word of prayer you spoke turned into chains of light, striking the shadow until it recoiled. Every declaration of truth shook the walls of darkness, and suddenly the serpent could not move closer. It hissed, it screamed, it fought, but the light covered your son like a shield. Then Michael declared, "This is the weapon, your voice, your prayer, your authority as the one chosen to raise him. Do not underestimate it. Do not delay it. Do not think it is too weak. For the moment they rise, the shadow will fall." The enemy wants you to believe it's already too late, that your son is already lost, that the chains are too strong. But heaven says, no, he is not gone. The fire has not died. The book is not closed. The choice has not been made. And as long as you fight, the enemy cannot win. I saw angels surrounding your house. They were waiting, their swords drawn, but they stood still, silent, as though they needed a signal. And Michael explained, "They are waiting for your command. When you pray, when you speak, when you declare, then they move, then they strike, then they protect." This is the first glimpse of hope. Your son is not alone. You are not alone. The hosts of heaven are ready to fight, but they wait for your voice, because the parent has been given authority to cover the child. And here is the truth the shadow never wanted you to know. The battle is not about his weakness. It is about your silence. The enemy is not afraid of him falling. It is afraid of you rising. Because the moment you rise, the destiny written in darkness will be rewritten in light. So hear this clearly. You are the weapon. Your prayer is the fire. Your faith is the shield. And your courage is the key that will unlock his deliverance. The hour of decision is coming for your son, but the hour of action is here for you.
Listen now, because the shadow is not afraid of empty words. It is not afraid of rituals done without faith. It only fears preparation that comes from the heart, from obedience, and from truth. Archangel Michael spoke again, his voice like thunder over a storm. "Tell them the war is already here. The enemy is already moving. If they wait until the battle begins to prepare, they will lose. Preparation must start now. And I saw 3 things you must do before the final confrontation. 1. Guard your house. The shadow does not only attack your son, it looks for cracks in your home. Arguments, bitterness, hidden sin, unforgiveness. These are doors it uses to enter. Michael said, "Close every door. Speak peace where there was anger. Speak forgiveness where there was pain. Speak love where there was silence. For the house that is divided will fall, but the house that is covered in truth will stand as a fortress against the serpent." 2. Cover him daily. I was shown your son walking through the day, at school, with friends, in silence. And everywhere he went, I saw invisible arrows flying at him, temptations, lies, traps. But then, when the parent prayed, a shield appeared over him. The arrows fell powerless to the ground. Michael said,
"Do not wait for the night to pray. Cover him before he leaves. Cover him as he walks. Cover him as he sleeps. Let no day pass without your words protecting him." And 3, confront the influence. This was the hardest part. Michael revealed that the shadow will not release your son as long as its doorway remains open. And that doorway is the influence, the person, the relationship, the voice the shadow uses. Michael declared, "They must be bold. They must not fear offending man when it comes to saving the child. They must tear the mask from the serpent, even if it wears the face of a friend. And I saw you, the parent, standing before your son and his so-called friend. Your voice did not tremble. You spoke truth. You declared boundaries. And though your son resisted at first, light burst through the chains when the serpent was exposed. Because the shadow cannot survive once it is dragged into the open." Then Michael looked at me with eyes of fire and said, "Preparation is not optional. If they fail to prepare, the enemy will strike when they are weakest. But if they prepare, the serpent will flee before the sword is even raised." And suddenly I saw the angels who stood silent before begin to move. Their wings spread wide, their swords glowed brighter. They were waiting, not waiting for the shadow, not waiting for your son, but waiting for you. Because the moment you prepare, the moment you close the doors, cover him daily, and confront the influence, the heavens will align with your voice. The armies of God will surround your house, and the shadow will find no place left to hide. This is the preparation. This is the command. This is the mercy of God, that he does not only expose, but he instructs, because the final confrontation is near, and you will not face it unarmed.
Now the hour has come. The visions have ended. The warnings have been spoken. The preparations have been revealed. And now the battlefield is before us. I saw it, the final night. Your son lay in his room, but his spirit was not at rest. The shadow entered again, this time larger, darker, bolder than before. Its form filled the room, its whispers turned into screams. "You are mine! You cannot escape! You have no strength left! Tonight I finish what I began!" Your son wept. He covered his ears, but the shadow pressed harder, its claws stretching toward his soul. The candle of his faith flickered, weaker than ever, almost gone. And then I saw you, the parent, not trembling at the doorway anymore, not silent, not blind, but burning with the fire of preparation. Your voice broke through the night. "No, he is not yours. He was chosen before you touched him. He was marked before you whispered, 'He is mine, and he is God's.'" The shadow hissed, recoiling, but it did not flee. It screamed, "Your prayers are nothing. Your voice is weak. He already belongs to me." But then the heavens shook, the room cracked with thunder, and Archangel Michael descended, his sword a flame brighter than 1,000 suns. His wings spread wide, shaking the walls of darkness, and he declared with unshakable authority, "Enough! This battle ends tonight." The shadow lunged at your son one last time, but Michael raised his sword, and as you prayed, your words became chains of fire. Every declaration wrapped around the shadow, binding it. Every prayer became a strike of lightning. Every tear became a weapon sharper than steel. The shadow screamed, twisting, shrinking, breaking apart. It tried to hold on, but the fire consumed it until nothing remained but ashes on the floor. Then Michael placed his hand on your son's chest. Light poured into him, pure, holy, overwhelming. The candle inside him ignited into a blazing torch, and for the first time in so long, I saw him breathe freely, his eyes shining with life again. The crossroad vision returned. This time, your son no longer trembled. He no longer looked at the darkness. He turned to the light, firm, certain, unshaken, and he stepped forward. The page in the book turned to the side of destiny, blessing, and victory. The pen moved, and heaven wrote, redeemed, protected, chosen. Then Michael looked at me and said, "Tell them this battle is not the end, it is the beginning. The shadow may return, but it will never win, because once the parent rises, once the light enters, the child will never walk alone again." And the Lord spoke one final time. This is why I exposed him, not to shame him, but to save him, not to break the parent, but to awaken them. For the serpent was bold, but my love is bolder, and tonight destiny has been sealed.